back again.
We got to get you a new catchphrase, man.
I don't
you can
think
say
so.
it one more time. You can say it for episode 100.
I can say it 100 times in a row?
And then you got to come up with something different.
Come on. I don't like this. I'll just say it in a different language. I'll bypass the system.
Yeah, you can say it in a different language for all the different countries that we've visited electronically.
I will bypass the system.
Yeah.
Somehow.
All right, so here we are back in after a lot of fun that we had last week. And although we did a great deal of whining on the show, we're happy to report that there are some people out there that decided to take some action. And I've spoken to some of you guys online about things that we're working on right now. And we hope to have some really big announcements over the next couple of days. But I want to tell you what John and I have been working on with primarily with Denise Waddles from USAA, who has finally agreed to come on the show, by the way. So either next week or the week after, Denise is going to be on, so you can talk to her in person and ask her all your arm wrestling questions that you've been sending me. But anyway, you know, the context of last week's shows, if you remember, were, you know, trying to find ways to unify a team, get the country supporting Team USA, and just unifying arm wrestlers in general. So Denise reached out to us after having heard a good portion of the show and offered up the support and services of USAA with really cool ideas, and we've been working on it all week. And what it basically comes down to is we are going to roll out a Team USA sponsorship program, and arm wrestlers can buy like a sponsorship for the team for $25, $50, $100, whatever, and that comes with certain things. Denise and Leonard have offered to provide, you know, T-shirts, unique, brand new T-shirts that's, you know, going to have some kind of cool stuff on them about Team USA.
Yeah, Corey Miller's
Team
designing
USA
it.
And what'd you say?
I think Corey Miller's designing it. Yeah.
Yeah, Corey Miller's designing it.
Yeah.
And people are going to be able to get that shirt, you know, if you donate a certain amount of money. But in addition to that, you're going to get these coupons for $5 off entry into any of the participating tournaments. USAA was the very first, you know, organization to sign up on this, and they've offered, you know, $5 off coupons for entries in almost all of their events. The only ones they can't do it for are the ones that they don't actually run, like Arnold's. And I think there's one other one that they can't do. But the rest of their events, you'll be able to use the coupons for $5 off. And in addition to that, over the last few days, we've signed on maybe like 15 additional promoters all around the country who will honor these coupons. So basically, you'll buy a package of whatever it is, $50, $100, and you'll get a set number of coupons for $5 off an entry at any of these events that you want to go to. USAA will provide you with a T-shirt and a hoodie if you spend enough money, or one or the other, which are going to be friggin' awesome, and everybody's going to want one. And 100% of the money, 100% of it, is going straight to the arm wrestlers that go to Team USA qualifiers at USAF Nationals in the senior classes only, and commit to going to Worlds and doing it drug-free. All right? The money's going to go to you guys to help you fly over there, help, depending on how much we get. Well, we don't know how much we'll be able to give everybody, but it's going to go 100% to arm wrestlers. So John and I aren't taking anything. Denise and Leonard aren't taking anything. Nobody's taking any money. So every single cent that gets donated to this will be going straight to the arm wrestlers. So to me, I think this is a huge step forward, and it shows the generosity of, you know, USAA and, of course, Hand Control Worldwide. And all the promoters that are signing up, and I think you have a list, John, but all this stuff is going to come out over the next few days. You guys will be able to read it. It's all going to be super transparent, so every cent that you donate, you'll be able to look at it online. So if you donate $25 and you wish your name to be shown, it's going to show up on the screen that you donated $25 as well as the total that everybody's given. Mm-hmm. So I'll have an idea about how much we'll be able to give everybody at the end of Nationals. So John and I and Denise and everybody else are super psyched about it. And right now the main job is trying to convince everybody else to come on board, because we want everybody on board. And that means AAA and USAF and all the other promoters across the country. We want everyone to come behind this program, because it truly is for the arm wrestlers. It's paid for by the arm wrestlers, and the money's going to go straight back to the arm wrestlers. And we have, you know, our first huge donor in USAA. So I'm going to thank them again very much. And, this is Denise watched the show last week, and unlike us who just sat up here and whined for an hour and a half, she decided that, to do something about it. And so she's been working behind the scenes with a bunch of other people too. So what did I forget, John? I know I said a lot of crap, but
well, I wanted to go back a little bit. The whole we're just giving to the seniors thing. I don't know if that's actually figured out yet.
Oh yeah, well maybe I shot my mouth off too quick.
I mean,
but whatever.
It could be given to everybody. We don't know.
Shouldn't go to. Well, we can argue about that right here online live. I think it should go to seniors because I agree with people that that's the primary category that winning golds is awesome in. Not that I am hating on my own category or juniors, but I'm not the decision maker because this is going to be driven by the arm wrestlers. So I think we should find out what people think and we should go with what people want.
Fair enough. Yeah, one good point too to really hit home is that no promoter touches the money. None. Has nothing to do with your money is going to an account. It's not going into promoters' hands. Nobody's distributing the money at all until it's time to whoever's going to WAF. Nobody touches it. Promoters don't have to pay anything. The only thing you have to do is when we get these punch cards, and just to kind of go through the list a little bit, if you give $25, you get a punch card that's good for $5 off of each of 4 entries. So if you go to a tournament and you enter 2 classes and you have your punch card and the director takes that, you have two entries left on your card. Mm-hmm. So it's basically it's a $20 card for $25. Mm-hmm. So you save $20. Mm-hmm. For $50, you get $5 off of 8 entries. Mm-hmm. For $75, you get $5 off of 8 entries and a T-shirt, and for $100, you get $5 off of 8 entries and a hoodie. The only thing the promoter has to do, if you're a promoter out there listening, you're not sure what this is about. The only thing you have to do is say that if you have a punch card, I'll take $5 off of you. 1 or 2 are your entries, however many they enter, and they want to use that punch card for. That's it. That's the only thing, and the money doesn't go to any organization other than an account that will be 100% public, how much money there is in it and who's donated what. And you're going to find that however much money gets donated, when it's distributed for the travel reimbursement, which is basically just going to help out the travel at first, you're going to find that the account has $0 in it. Nobody's getting anything. We're not getting anything for hosting it on the site. We're not getting anything for doing any of the work. None of it. This is nothing but getting the ball rolling on somehow helping out people who participate in this process. That's not easy to do, to go to WAF. It's not easy for any of us. It's not easy to go and try to get 1 and 2 and then plan a week, about a week away from home to go to WAF and participate. So that's all it is. I think I in my opinion, I don't want it to go to anybody who we feel is more worthy than anybody else. The people who are worthy are the ones who are participating in the process.
A lot of people are saying that. So, I think the will of the arm wrestlers should dictate. And if we want to support everybody, masters, juniors, grandmasters, and seniors, then that's what we should do.
It's not our money.
Like you said, it's the amount of money is that could be enough to pay everybody's full way, or maybe it will be at some point, but it probably won't start off that way.
Yeah, well, it won't be right. It won't be at first.
It's an arm wrestler fund, so basically it should be decided by the people who are contributing. Yeah. How you want to see it divvied up, and I think it would be really super cool if we got a significant amount of money in there. Where we're able to send people from every division. I personally am not going to be taking any money from it if I'm lucky enough to qualify, just because I'm part of the fund. So I'm going to accept myself from it, just because I think that's the right thing to do. But if we want to use it for everybody else in other classes, then I'm good with that. Basically, what the arm wrestlers want is what we'll do.
Yeah, that's it. It's one thing about it is it's a lot. It's pretty much just as simple as it sounds. Mm-hmm. At first, anyway. We're as the years go by, hopefully it gets a lot bigger. That'd be nice. But it's going to be a PayPal account. You basically fill out a form on the hand control site for whatever services you're going to order, whatever packages you're going to order. You hit send. You don't have to sign up on the site. You don't have to sign up for anything. You just put your name, your email address, what package you want, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Then you donate that much money, however much money it is total, to the PayPal account. We send that information to Denise, and she sends you your stuff. Mm-hmm. It's really that simple. Mm-hmm. There's nothing more, nothing less. Hopefully at some point we'll be able to collect money from tournaments, like just in a donation thing or whatever. But for now, that's a little. That's definitely running before we can walk. So we're just gonna do this. We're gonna see how much it is. And in my opinion, if people are committed to going to WAF already, if you're gonna go, so there's people that are just gonna go. They have been for years. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna go and we can give you $200 towards your travel, that's $200 that you didn't have to spend, and it means the system can work. That's all this is. Real simple.
And, the hope is that it's going to encourage more people to participate in USAF Nationals and take World seriously and go over there and compete, because that's what we really want. We want to send our best. So, use this as a motivator, too. I mean, if you give $25, that $25 could end up coming right back to you if you go to USAF and you win, man. So, or woman. So let's get out there and compete. Go to the event, support it. And then you go, think about it, you're going to have we already have 15 or 16 promoters, and USAA by themselves has 20-something events a year, maybe more. I don't even, Denise will probably correct me, but they have a lot of events.
Probably more so with the
certified promoters, if you add all of them in, and all of those guys are on board too. I mean, you're talking about a huge number of events that you can save money at while donating to Team USA. So even if you're not planning on going, it supports the sport. I mean,
and you get something back too. It's not.
You do get something
this is
back.
not just you just don't drop money in a bucket and then you never see the money again, or you don't get anything. You get something out of it. So, let's give it a shot. That's all we can say. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are. There's a lot of people that are willing to work to make this work. Because we believe that this can work. Mm-hmm. So let's give it a shot. Even if it's a little successful, that means it was successful. Yeah.
Dude, if you get $2,000, like you said, you might be able to get everybody $100 or $200. It makes a difference.
If you give me $10, I'm happy. That's $10 I didn't have.
But honestly, there's no reason why everybody can't support it. There's no reason why everybody can't throw in $25 or $50, because you are gonna, especially if you're doing a lot of tournaments, you're gonna get most of that money back, and every cent that you give is gonna go directly to some arm wrestler who's gonna go to Turkey this year. Right. And that's a big deal. You're helping the team be bigger. You're helping the team be more successful, and maybe it's gonna encourage some people that maybe don't have a huge amount of financial means, but are really excellent arm wrestlers to go to USAF, compete, and go back.
Well, and the thing too, you have to recognize later on, long term, is that if this kind of thing does work and it's successful and it unifies the sport a little bit, that's when businesses start to look at it, and all of a sudden the arm wrestlers don't have to feed it as much. You get bigger payout because they'll donate X. They can donate more than I can. I know that's business can. So. That's where that stuff can happen. I mean, that's the steps to do this. It's just the steps to do it. Might as well take the first one.
So a few people may have missed this, but Leonard just mentioned. I want to mention it again that the shirts and the hoodies, those are not being. The money for those is not being taken out of the money that you're giving. No. Those are being straight up donated.
Yes. By
Denise and Leonard Harkless from USAA.
Yes.
They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do it. I mean, they're the first and biggest sponsor of this. I hope that, and like you just mentioned, there's going to be a lot of big sponsors. But I mean, like I said, we came on here and whined last week for an hour and a half with a bunch of other people, and they stepped up to do something. And I know there's a lot of other people that are willing to step up and do things too. So hopefully this motivates them. But I mean, this is money coming straight out of their pocket to help basically boost numbers at USAF to send people to Worlds. So to me, that's an altruistic move, and they got a lot of respect for me for that. So again, thank you to both of them for coming up with this idea and being a huge part of it. And so now it's up to the rest of us to start sponsoring the team and get a lot of people over there to kick ass.
Yeah, and when I said before too that, to be very, very clear, that no promoter touches the money, that includes Leonard and Denise. Mm-hmm. They're not going to see any of it. They get a form from me that says this is what this person ordered. We have the payment. Me and Josh have the payment. USAA, USAF, Triple, nobody sees that money except for just us, and we're going to throw it right back. So that's a great point to bring up, that these are donated apparel. They're not asking us to pay them. Never did. Yeah, I just I don't know. It's like I think it's just a good first step. Am I correct in remembering that Luke Polsher actually came up with this idea?
Well, since I've been reminded of it 3 times on here, so my guess is you are correct. Because
Well,
I've been
thank you,
trying
Luke.
to,
Then.
I was going to get you in there, Luke, but again, this idea, I guess Luke had a part of the origination, so we'll give some credit for that. Luke has also given me a hard time on here about saying only senior classes, so I'll let him. I put you in there for that too, Luke. Dude, we'll send everybody. Let's send everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, help out everybody. I mean, they're the ones. This is their money.
Mm-hmm.
Because that really, I don't think there's a way it can be missed. Is that if you're on Team USA, it's your money.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're Team USA Master or a junior, it's your money. It's Team USA's money. It's not the Team USA Senior Athlete Sponsorship Program. It's the athlete. So even if it's less money that goes to everybody, well, then we'll make it bigger next time.
Yeah.
It's got to be done.
I like that, man. I like the love for all the classes. And, Luke is right. I mean, hell, if we can get a couple more juniors over there with this extra money, then that would be really insanely awesome. Because that's the one class we need to double, triple, quadruple amount of entrants in. And it would be cool if this helped do that, So, I mean, if there's 10,000 arm wrestlers who hear about this across the country and they all donate $25, which is not a lot as an individual, especially considering you're going to get a fair amount of that back through these entry coupons.
Right.
And, I mean, I know we're going to have the list up, but, I mean, there's a lot of people whose names you recognize that are already
for sure
on board. So chances are that your big local promoters are either already on board or soon will be. So you're going to be able to use it all over the country. It's not going to be only at USAA events. They were the first ones to sign on because it was pretty much their idea. But everybody else is going to join on board because, everybody wants to support Team USA because we all love the sport and the sport. And it's not a huge amount of money, up front for any of us to give, considering what we spend on the sport anyway.
Well, I mean, to that point, I mean, $25 is pretty much an entry fee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you pretty much get an entry fee back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I think it's at least worth one buy. I just do. I mean, I don't think there's too much risk in going, here's my $25. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, see what happens. I mean, you guys know us. We don't take any money for this show. We've had people offer us money to do this show already, and we said no because we like doing it this way. It's free. We get to do what we want. We get to talk to who we want. We get to talk about whatever we want. We don't make any money off it, but who cares? You know what I mean? And so that's why we're going to be holding the money because we don't want it. We can't wait to give it away to you guys. So send it over, and maybe you'll get some part of your plane ticket. We're not sending anybody first class, though. So
right, not yet.
Not yet. Maybe next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Or,
and again, to hammer it home again, the money does not get touched by promoters. It's completely independent, and the balances and everything will be on the site.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to see how much money's in the pot. So there's not gonna be nothing hidden from it. You'll be able to look it up whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
and you're looking at the two guys. I'll pretty much be taking all the questions for it too. So you'll know who to ask. It won't be some organization. It's just me and Josh.
I feel bad because I don't have a phone this week. I broke my phone, and the people fixing it broke it. So John's been dealing with most of the stuff. So I've been kind of floating
nerding
in the
out.
background.
I've been just a complete nerd writing website coding till my eyes bleed to make this stuff work. But
yeah,
it'll work though.
And
it'll work.
but all that one good thing that came of this, we were able to convince Denise to come on the show. So
yeah,
she can't back out of it now because we said it on the live audience in front of everybody.
Yeah,
so
sorry, Denise.
Maybe she'll be on next week for the 100th episode, unless we do some kind of crazy special stuff for that one. Then she'll be on 101. But either way, she's going to be on one of the next 2 shows, so you get to talk to her in person. And so this is step 1. So what comes next? I don't know. We'll see how this does. I mean, it's when you think about it, it's kind of the idea of a membership. You give money, you get something back for it, and you support the team. That's the basic idea, and that's all been accomplished. So whether or not we just increase the funds, assuming this is successful, and assuming that we are successful in signing everybody on, which we hope we will, we want to try to keep everybody happy, even though that's impossible. But if we can keep as many people psyched about it as we can, and we get most promoters on, that'll be a huge success by itself. And then next year we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yep. Gotta try. We gotta try. You can't sit around talking about it without trying.
Exactly.
Because I made the comment. I'm like, man, unless I'm retired from the sport, I'm not doing it. But then I was thinking about it, and it's like, man, you can't just sit around wishing for things. Mm-hmm. If you have a plan, if there's some kind of idea, then we should just do it. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much right about the time that Denise was like, hey, got an idea. It was like, well, let's just do it then. Let's just do it.
Yeah, Leonard just said that the promoters honoring the cards, the coupons, should be proud of helping Team USA. And I've reached out to a bunch of them, and they've all said yes almost immediately. And I think that's because they feel proud, and it's a cool thing to have. We've never had it before, and I don't know if I'm stupid or John's stupid. Well, we're probably both stupid.
I'm definitely stupid.
We just didn't come up with the idea. It's a really easy and smart idea, so it's like, let's get it done. You know what I mean? Yep. So anyway, we're going to work on it. We'll get the final draft up on our site pretty soon, hopefully really soon, and then we'll have the PayPal account live, and people can start donating and getting your cool stuff from Leonard and Denise, and start using coupons at tournaments, and hopefully arm wrestle even more as a result.
Yeah, so, I meant retirement from the sport, Denise, not retirement. She's like, retirement, really? From polling.
Nobody ever retires from the sport. Just
right. I would just move on to something.
Didn't Leonard have a super match like a couple weeks ago, or a month ago, or something like that? I feel like I read the super match. Nobody ever retires.
Good point.
Whether you like it or not.
I'm partially retired right now. Partially.
Jerry Cataret's watching. So Jerry, man, you get a sponsorship and go to. Has Jerry ever been to WAF?
Yeah. Yep.
Did he win?
I think so. Jerry, have you won? I believe you have. I want to say.
I can't keep trying.
I want to say in 2000 or 2001. Correct me if I'm wrong. Might have been in the U.S. too.
Referee. That's true.
That's what I'm saying, Leonard. You know what I mean? See, that's what I'm saying. I would just move on to something else. I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna walk away from arm wrestling. I can't. No, somehow this stupid sport has me going still. But in terms of like training and all that kind of stuff, once I'm done with that, because it's just too much,
WAF gold medal. Did you ever win a WAF gold medal, Jerry? That's what we're talking about. Jerry's a couple steps behind.
I'm going to say either 2000 or 2001. I'm going to say that. It might have been in Virginia Beach, too.
One of the last ones in the USA. I see.
Test my knowledge. Well, the last one in the USA was 2010, I think.
See, that's what I think the main goal of this is. If we use programs like this and further steps in the future, and we send a large team to WAF, and we start winning more gold medals, it gives us a much more strong voice, to argue for things like the WAF coming back to the United States. All the foreign pullers from other countries would like to come to North America from time to time, Canada, USA, Mexico, or whatever, and right now they can't do it. So if we get a stronger voice over there and we have a stronger contingent, then maybe we can institute some kind of change and get the championship over here, which would be amazing.
Yeah, like Leonard said, it's kind of hard to have a huge voice when you don't bring a huge team.
So Jerry said he won in 96 and 2000. That's pretty good, Jerry. Good job, man.
Yeah, nice work. You're world class. I don't know if anybody told you.
I don't know if exactly. Yeah, hopefully we get Jerry and some vendettas, man. I'd like to see him up against some of those bad guys overseas. Who would you put Jerry against? If you could pick any of those big guys, like who do you think would make the most interesting matchup?
For Jerry.
Jerry.
I think Jerry.
How about Gennady?
Yeah. Yeah, they're both so fast and explosive.
They are so fast, and Gennady likes to try to use that flop press, but I don't know if he can handle it.
I wouldn't mind seeing Jerry and Truman. To be honest with you.
Ooh, that would be cool.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Because Truman, he's susceptible to that move because of the way he pulls, but also he knows how to deal with it if it stops. So it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Jerry said he'd pull anyone.
Yeah, because
I would love to see that, man. I'd like to see that.
No, Truman's no dummy. He knows how to arm wrestle. He really knows how to arm wrestle. Mm-hmm. He might be this big physical freak, but that guy really has some skills on the table. Which, when you get to the real high level of power, tends to fall off a little bit. Because, why? For the most part, if you're just train wrecking everybody, why do I need to be pretty?
What do you think happened with him and Dave Chafee? Do you think he
With Truman
injured
and Dave?
himself in the match, or do you think he? I mean, do you think that the fact
think
that
it
he
was
put on so
legitimate?
much weight and that he looks significantly different than he had in his previous match, you think that had some kind of impact on his performance?
I
Or do you
don't.
think it was unrelated?
I think it was completely unrelated. I think that Dave was just a stronger guy. And I think when they put those straps on Dave's wrist, which is the only, which
He
is
was like, oh shit.
well, Dave's wrist is the only problem. And to say it's a problem is very, very wrong, because it's not. It's just that if you compare his wrist to his arm is just ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And Truman had a chance. Truman had a chance to, well, we all thought anyway, to really manipulate Dave's hand because of his arm length and his top roll. And, we all thought too that maybe the endurance part would take over a bit. But once Dave put that strap on, the support in his wrist was just, he wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then, somehow, just tricking everybody and completely double crossing Truman, Dave just out top rolled him. Dragged him across the table. He had no answer for Dave's back pressure.
Do you think he was really injured, or do you think he just was I can't beat this guy?
I think something. I don't think he's that kind of guy to say, I'm gonna just take the easy way out and pretend like I'm hurt. I think he went, well, top rolling him did not
I think
work.
he was hurt, but the question is, was he hurt enough to not continue?
Oh, I don't know. I would have to say yes until I knew for sure not.
Evidence otherwise.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, that guy he's been everywhere. He's a WAF champ. He pulled Michael when everybody thought he was going to get killed by Michael. He pulled Pushkar when everybody said he was going to kill Pushkar and took a loss. And so, I mean, he's
not everybody.
He's a competitor though. I mean, but he's a competitor. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't think he faked anything.
I don't think he faked anything either, but sometimes you get a little tweak and it's easier to just stop when you feel like you're being run over by a freight train. It doesn't necessarily mean he quit.
Right.
It could just be like a symptom of, not being mentally super strong that one day that he just collapsed and he feels like he's going to get injured worse and decides not to continue with the match. I mean, when Dave looked incredible, he looked like he had never been stronger, in better shape, and never more technically proficient either, at least of the matches that I've seen him in.
Sure.
So it's a lot to deal with,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, the more I get in the sport, the more I question things like technique, I mean, technique's important. Nobody can say technique's not important. But what if I come up with some brand new move? This is kind of going off topic, but whatever. What if I go with some brand new move that nobody's ever seen, and it's the ugliest thing you've ever seen in your life, but it wins? Do I have good technique or not? You know what I mean? And that
the answer is yes. I don't know if you ever listened to this. He's kind of a clown, but his name's Tim Ferriss. Does all these podcasts and stuff. I read one of his books once, and he went to China and did some kind of kung fu tournament, and he had never done this particular type of martial arts in his life. He ended up winning it because he exploited one of the rules, which is that if your opponent gets knocked off of the platform, they lose. And he cut 35 pounds because they had an early weigh-in. And then he put it all back on for the tournament, and then he went and basically picked everybody up and threw them off the platform. So he basically didn't know kung fu, but he ended up winning it because he got everybody off the platform.
Yeah.
And they later changed the rule to prevent that from being done. But he won. And so the question is, was it good technique or was he just being clever?
Right, because what we're like, really, the thing I just described is in a lot of ways is what the King's move is, right? People think it's ugly, they hate it, bad representative of sport, blah blah blah. But people win with it. Right?
They do win with it.
So you have to say that that's some kind of great technique if that's what you're believing in.
It's been around a while, too. It's not like it was just a flash in the pan. People have, there's all different versions of it, and people have used it with a great deal of success at this point.
Yeah, and, I think people get a couple of things confused, which is technique versus effectiveness. Because, damn it, that move is effective. It's might not be
technique, right?
It might not be good technique.
You either have the ability to do it or you don't.
It seems to be. I mean, I think you can learn it a bit, but yeah,
Well, like that guy. What's his name now? I can't remember his name. From Bulgaria, he's figured out how to use it, and he has a completely straight arm version of it. Yeah, Hristo. Yeah. So you definitely can learn it, but I feel like the more effective versions are, the locked arm, Crazy George style.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, he's going to have some interesting competition this year at Arnold's, assuming he goes back. I mean, I know Corey Miller's planning on going again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that Oleg Tudorian is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Moldova. Some of you guys may have been lucky enough to pull him the last few weeks, various trainings he's been going to. He's the current WAF and European champion under 21 in that weight class. Mm-hmm. And he's very tough. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Because you got to imagine that Corey Miller's been thinking about that all year.
Oh, I'd hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he's any kind of a competitor, which he is, 100%, he's been thinking about it all year. Yeah, I mean, listen, George is the king until otherwise proven. Or proven otherwise. It's just the way it is.
Denise just said Tiete is coming as well. So that's serious power he's going to be dealing with.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to send them copies of Anthony's victory over Crazy George and say, practice that, you know? I mean, the grabbing the fingers, climbing, avoiding the straps, first of all, and then basically pinning his fingers instead of his arm.
There's so much video on how to beat that move. People just don't choose to study it. There's plenty of video on it. There's so much video on it. Trubin showed us. Devin showed us. Anthony Delantonio showed us. Mm-hmm. It takes some special talent. That's for sure. It takes real fine motor skills and a lot of patience. You can't be making big moves.
Yeah.
And you have to go in sometimes opposite directions. You know, something in the sport is interesting when we talk about techniques and what to do and what not to do and all this kind of stuff. And everybody kind of presents it in this matter-of-fact way. Well, if you want to top roll someone, you just pull back and you rotate until their hand is flat or backwards, and then you pin them. Well, if you're against anybody who's worth a damn, good fucking luck. It's not going to go right. It's never going to go perfect, especially if they're really strong. And I'll tell you right now, it's never going to go perfectly against George. It's never going to. You have to sometimes, like, you know, that whole, like, the philosophy of I'm not giving anything. I don't give an inch. Well, if you do that, you're going to lose. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to give up a position to get two. Mm-hmm. It's just the way the sport is. Sometimes you have to give up a little bit of side pressure position in order to get your wrist and your rotation.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you'll lose something. You know, there's so much video evidence on how to beat that move. Mm-hmm. I'm just not sure if everybody knows what they're looking at in terms of what directions the hands are moving.
There's a couple people talking about having pulled Oleg both at Granite Arms or Dungeon Arms, and he's if you haven't had a chance to pull world-class pullers at those lighter weights, sometimes you may take them for granted, and then when you lock up with them, you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a freaking freight train. You know, you're going through people that are 100 pounds heavier than him.
Sure.
And Denise just confirmed that George is going to be at 176 at Arnold's, and that it looks like it's going to be the largest weight class. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I hope they live stream it like they did last time, because that was super fun.
Yeah, if it's anything like last year, it's going to be huge. Last year was great.
Yeah, good luck with that. I don't know how I know they're going to figure it out because they're master promoters, but man, the amount of matches that they have to get done in the tiny amount of time they're given is really incredible.
Just goes to show you, man, what you can do with the tournament if you have to. Mm-hmm. If you have to. I mean, listen, they run open class, they run right hand. So it's pretty limited in terms of like how many classes and stuff, but we've had this conversation. Yeah. We've had this conversation running a novice-only tournament, running an open-only tournament. To make it so it's a 3-hour tournament instead of a 8-hour thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it makes everybody fresh at the end of it. You can sit around and talk about arm wrestling and actually want to. You can, all these things. I think eventually it's going to have to go there.
Yeah.
I really do, and I think it's a good way too to not deter some people from wanting to enter if you know that there's nobody there.
I like that idea.
You know what I mean?
think it's cool.
I mean, maybe it's not quite there yet, but it could be. I don't know.
Well, we talked about climbing last week, and they have 3 nationals in climbing. You know, they have the youth nationals, and they have the open nationals, and then they have what is the other one? There's one other. It's like the citizen national. So they have one for basically, like you said, novices, people that are coming in off the street, and then they have one for the open, which eventually, as of next year, is going to start qualifying people for Olympics, and then they have the youth nationals, which is it's a cool model. There's a lot of stuff being posted everywhere while we're talking. There's this other big tournament that Denise and Leonard are running, the Hawthorne Armed Forces Day in Hawthorne, that has the 220-pound round robin. right and left. $3,000 prize for the right, $2,000 prize for the left.
Yep.
That's a lot of money.
That's interesting too. Whenever I see a good round robin, I like that. Is that open to anybody? Is that
At
open?
220 would you put in the mix there?
Well, that's what
Hutchings, Ron Bath.
Well, I was just gonna ask who's invited. Is it invite only, or is it whoever signs up? Because that changes.
My memory is that you can sign up for it.
Okay.
Unless I might have misread the flyer, but I think it's open. So
well, I mean, hey, that sounds.
But I imagine they'll limit it. You can't have an unlimited number of people in a round robin, because then you could have some Joe Schmo end up winning. And Denise just posted it's open to everyone. So is there going to be a limit on the number of entrants, or could it be any number of people?
Yeah, I mean, if that's enough money for Todd, as far in terms of travel and all that stuff, I don't know.
Well, Matt Mask was talking about coming down to do it. I don't think Devin could make 220 right now.
And I don't mean that to sound shitty towards Todd. It's just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has Todd Hutchings written all over it, man.
Yeah,
and that'd be super. Oh man, Todd and Matt Mask, and that, mixing the 195s and the 225s from WL.
That would be cool.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, Paul Lynn's getting a little love over.
Kind of sounds like something maybe
Paul Lynn. Why not?
Herman Stevens.
He was just saying I can't make 220 anymore.
Oh, shut up, Herman. Yes, you can. You just made 209. You dummy.
Yeah. He probably. I don't think he liked it, but he did make it.
That's 11 pounds off. You can make 220.
That's gonna be cool though.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cool events coming up. These two that we're talking about aren't actually included in the package we were mentioning earlier, but just imagine how many you'd be able to travel to all around the country. And that's kind of cool too. If you think, if you have this thing, it's good for tournaments in like Arkansas or North Dakota or California, and you live wherever you live, and maybe it's a good reason to go to these different states if you can participate in another tournament that's going to be supporting USA and a state you haven't been in. It's a good reason to travel.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, Denise just put John Brzenk's name in there. That would be something. That's just John Brzenk. We've been trying to get him to come on the show since we started. I probably have sent him like an invite a week for like the last year and a half. He hasn't said yes yet, but episode 100 would be perfect. So if you know John, just tell him, hey man, come on the show. He might only come on for like 10 minutes if he did, but it'd still be fun.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there is an amount of money that would be enough for him to say, all right, I'll come out for retirement one more time. And what do you think would happen? How would he do right now? If we don't know how he's been training or anything like that. He's in his 50s now. If he just showed up at a 220-pound round robin.
Well,
I guess Denise said he posted that it would be easy money.
Well, yeah, of course. But, to me, it's not. Of course, it's like, what kind of shape is he in terms of, has he been training, all that kind of stuff. But, even that doesn't really pose as much of a question to me as much as how much pain is he in? Because I know when he left the sport, he was in a lot of pain. He had shoulders. He had the same shoulder surgery that I just had, minus a couple other things. But, pretty much the same shoulder surgery that I had. I know he had back surgery. I know his left shoulder was mangled. I think the reward for how much uncomfortability you have in your life just isn't worth it anymore. So it would really be, to me, does he get, they say ready go and is just instant pain. You know what I mean? Like that's what limits arm wrestlers so much.
That's a good point.
You can mentally get through a lot, but man, when you have some severe pain in a joint, it's really tough too. Yep. Real tough. You can do it, and especially if you do it for a long time, you just get used to it. But man, everybody knows who's had tendonitis, anything like that. When you're in pain versus when you're not, you're just not the same person.
You're not the same person. It's incredible what a difference it makes. I think every one of us who's arm wrestled seriously for a while has experienced it and felt yourself before and after and know what difference it makes. People are listing all kinds of tournaments that are coming up that are all going to be awesome. Wisconsin State Round Robin. Yeah. Jonathan Laba's having his big tournament super matches in April, which looks like a really cool event. I'm definitely planning on going to that one. Dave Morocco has one coming up too. So there's endless possibilities for all of you promoters to join on to this program.
Well, yeah, and
that we talked about at the beginning of the show.
And again, all you have to do is just say that punch card is worth it.
It's worth it.
Is worth what it says it is, which is $5 off and however many amateurs they decide.
Mhm.
That's all it means until there's 4 holes or 8 holes in the card. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else.
Right. It's very simple. There's no reason not to do it. Somebody just suggested we have Corey Dupuy on for 100th show. I don't know if we are a big enough show.
He can just come on
we're
anyway.
a big enough show to have Corey on, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
he is
Corey
jacked.
Too much for this show.
I remember when Corey was a brand new boy.
Corey should have his own show.
I remember when Corey was brandy new.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do remember. Yep.
I don't believe that.
I do. He remembered when he started right when I started going to the Granite Arms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I went to Team Dungeon forever. When I first started pulling, I went to Granite Arms once, and I was on second shift. I worked second shift at the time, and I said, I'm gonna take like a day off a month and go to train. And I was like, to say I was new would be an understatement, and I realized very quickly, like first practice, that's not enough. So I found out that Ron Klemba and Team Dungeon trained on Sunday nights, and I was like, well, Sunday nights it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I started going there, and I just never stopped. And then I eventually got moved to day shift, and I'm like, well, I'm not stopping to work. I'm not going to stop working stop training at Dungeon. They're my guys.
No, of course, nor should you.
So I started going to the Grand Arms too.
Yeah, but the main point is about Corey. Number one, he has a great vocabulary, and number two, he quit smoking recently. Although I think he picked up vaping, so we got to get him off that habit.
No, that's almost worse, buddy. Just cool factor.
Anyway, Denise has asked me to review the program for everybody. So basically, if you missed the beginning of the show, this program that we're starting up with USAA and hopefully every other promoter in the country basically is designed specifically to help sponsor Team USA athletes go overseas to Worlds. So they go to USAF Nationals and they get first or second place in their class, and then we spend money on them to help them travel overseas. So basically, any arm wrestler can purchase a sponsorship program, $25, $50, $100, whatever you can, and you'll get coupons to enter, $5 off of any class and any of the participating events. And like I said, we already have 20 or something promoters signed up. We hope to have a lot more than that. And, it adds up fast. So if you get a couple hundred arm wrestlers contributing, then you can really make a significant dent in the money people are spending to go overseas. So we're hopeful that all you guys talking about your events coming up would consider doing that and participating in the program. And I see John Brzenk is tuning in here. So, John, how are you? We were just talking about you, too. How you said it would be easy money to win the round robin. And we were trying to guess what kind of condition you're in right now. And John brought up that he had the same shoulder surgery as you. So, I don't know. Sometimes that holds people back. But it'll be fun to see. So, I hope you go up and show up at that tournament because I would love to see it.
We're surgery buddies.
Surgery
That's cool,
buddies,
right?
exactly.
We have the same name. You have an extra letter. Your letter and yours is not necessary.
Yeah, but exactly. You spell your name differently.
Mine's
it's not exactly
efficient.
the same.
No, I know. He has an extra letter that's unnecessary. Let's be honest.
Maybe you should have a super match to determine who gets to keep or subtract a letter from their name.
Oh, it'd be a super duper match.
So there's a question about Prudnik's static holds he's been doing for 30 seconds. I think Prudnik's friggin' amazing, man. Every time I see the guy arm wrestle, he impresses me. He has the same kind of build that I have. He's like 6'2", and obviously the same weight as me. And he's, so he's taller and thinner than most of the pullers that you see at 198. Yeah. And he still pulls in a really powerful kind of like press hook. I don't really know how to define it because if you look at it carefully, he's definitely in a hook position a lot, but he also does like a kind of a rising pressing hook. And his strength in the so-called traditional hook positions is incredible for someone with his body type. So those static holds that he does, whether those are the reason he's that strong or whether that's a symptom of it, I don't know. But they're impressive.
I think I saw that video.
I think he held up 62 kilograms, for a good 30 seconds just in a locked hook position. So that's like whatever, 135 pounds or something like that. That's
standing,
a lot.
right? Standing up, and it was it on? If I'm remembering right, I have a bad memory. Was it on a? He was standing up and it was like on a belt, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I don't think that's why. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I have weird feelings about static holds because I've seen some guys do amazing static holds and they're not that strong on the table. I think they're a good assistance exercise if you know what position your arm's actually in. Because everybody looks at that and says, oh my God, his bicep. It's really not his bicep. The further you bring that elbow in, when you're doing like that, it really becomes about side pressure. It's a nice side pressure lock. And when you see, him turned in, he's not on his bicep. He's absolutely hiding his bicep from his opponent. And I don't know if people understand what that means either. When you're in a hook, you don't want to show your opponent your bicep. The bicep's the thing that's going to open most likely. Some guys have freak biceps, of course. But when it comes to back versus bicep, it's usually a pretty losing battle if you do that. And you're the guy with the bicep, right? So if you're turned in and the way Brzenk does, he has his elbow nice and tucked in, and he turns completely away and works his shoulder on top. Ends up being very structurally sound. If you try to push sideways through it, you're really pushing into his shoulder, into his body, into his joint. It ain't gonna go anywhere. And because he's turned so far away, if you go sideways, you're not going into his bicep, you're going into his shoulder. So he's just basically doing anything he can to hide his bicep. And meanwhile, while he's doing that, and while you're trying to knock him off of it, he has an incredibly long arm. And he really knows how to climb through a hook, which is another concept that's lost on a lot of people, where you're not trying to get any height this way. I'm pushing my shoulder up into the match, so your hand is forced down off of my hand onto my arm.
Interesting.
The more I do that, it's like you're holding onto my arm. If I'm in a hook or if I'm in a press, I want the pressure to not be anywhere near here. I want it to be here. I want it to be on my arm. And Brzenk has an amazing ability to push up, keep pushing up, and you see him regripping. It doesn't look like he's going anywhere. He's going somewhere. He's going big places. And what it allows him to do is either pull in a hook better, or what you see him do oftentimes, which is when he's there, all of a sudden he dips his shoulder down and he comes around up top. Because if you're holding on to my arm, all of a sudden the top roll is an option if your hand starts getting tired. And if you're holding on to my arm and I'm not using my hand really at all, who's going to burn out quicker? Who's being more efficient with their energy? It's Brzenk. He's really, really technically sound. He really knows what he's doing in that move. Big time.
And there's very few people that do that move.
Well, the thing is, and he's so dedicated to getting what he wants, which is something that a lot of arm wrestlers really lack. He goes to rest grip almost every time. And the thing is, a lot of arm wrestlers won't do that. They'll take something that they don't want because they feel like that they should because of pride or something. It's like, listen, you most likely paid to be there. You take a fair start. And if you don't feel like you're getting a fair start, then make the ref do it. And, on the other side of that, Brzenk is probably going to the point almost like what Mike Salieris did for a long time, which he's going to go to the rest grip because he's going to get something more than fair. He's figured out how to do it. Is what possible. It is. Oh no, it's more than possible. It's just a fact. But
the other thing is he's got strange hand architecture too. Like he's got kind of like a mutant. Leonard's just posting this too. We have the same thought.
He's got a bizarre.
Yeah, he's got a weird thumb.
Yeah, he does.
He takes up more space than a normal hand does, and that's got to have an impact too.
Yeah.
Corey's good. I mean, there's a lot of comments about him on here. Chris Gobby said not a bicep, but an ISO hook puller.
Yes, right. Exactly right. Yep. And the thing is, people look at this move here where someone's holding up a weight, and they don't look at where the elbow is in the body.
Right.
So if I'm like this and I'm holding up a weight like this, I'm on my bicep. This is my bicep, right? This opens up. But if the more I bring my elbow into my body,
it's no longer bicep.
It's not. The downward pressure is my side pressure now. The bicep has to stay tight. It has to stay locked. You don't want that to open, of course, but do you ever nobody curls anybody on the table, and nobody ever just drags straight down this way, because if you just drag straight down, you would pin yourself. You understand that if the angle never moved and you just went down, so you do both at the same time. You can't do it otherwise. When you drag back, you drag both back. A back, any kind of even rowing exercise in the gym, you use your bicep and your back at the same time. They're a package deal.
Well, I think part of that is if you notice when he pulls, his shoulder does not rise like this, because when your shoulder rises, your lats are no longer part of the equation.
Yeah.
So he rises this way, So his lats stay engaged, so he's got his maximum amount of pressure on. He can pull with the most muscles at all times. So that little lock that he has, like you were saying, it's so structurally intact. You never see this happen. Like I do this all the time, and a lot of people do. And as soon as we do that, our lats are no longer activated, so we just significantly weaken ourselves. So the ability to raise without raising your shoulder, to me, that's impressive.
Yes. Of course. Yeah,
super hard.
Trying to explain to people sometimes, and it's a strange concept, but that a posting top roll is really a front delt exercise. It's not a bicep exercise. The bicep is locked, but once you start to move down, you're really pushing up, and you're pushing up with right here. And it kind of goes to what you're saying, other than, with a post, it's not so much lat driven as much as it's you are using your bicep as a lever. But yeah, it's the shoulder is so important.
Well, I think that's actually one of the things that we miss sometimes when it comes to talking about things like static and weightlifting in general, is that regardless of how you do weightlifting, it's almost by definition a linear activity. And even arm wrestling in a position that you want, it's never linear. Because you're dealing with an opposing force that has unpredictable movement at all times. So you're never doing just one line. So his moves and his arm wrestling stuff in relation to the static stuff, I agree with you. I think his static is probably, he's able to do that because he's so strong in these areas as an arm wrestler and not the other way around. Yes. Because static it's pulling in one direction. And even when someone's pushing down on your arm in a defensive hook, they're not pushing in one direction. No. They're moving all over the place, and you're moving all over the place. So I don't think it's valueless, but I don't think that's the reason for his success.
No, it's an assistance.
But I guarantee you there's people all around the world that are sitting on benches doing static lifts with kettlebells right now.
Yeah, and I'll bet you that there's some that are like, holy shit, I'm only 15 pounds away from Prudnick. Why aren't I the fucking man? Why aren't I the fucking man? It's like because it's an assistance exercise. It's not the exercise. We had this conversation when it came to PT.
Dude, it comes on every week when we interview people. It's the same thing. They do this trick and everybody starts doing it. It's like, you watch the videos of successful arm wrestlers and you try to mimic them and you end up missing what the point of it is.
Yeah, you and I had this conversation in private where it was we were talking about PT, and you were like, "Man, I really have to convince myself to do this shit because it doesn't make me stronger." Yeah. It allows you to do the things that make you stronger. It's like strongman competitions, right? So, or even just powerlifters. Take powerlifters, for example. Powerlifting is very simple in terms of what the exercise is. It's squat, deadlift, and bench press, right? Well, there's plenty of very high-level powerlifters that will drag sleds in order to have the work capacity to do the squat the squat program in order to get stronger. They can't even do the program without building up the work capacity through another super hard exercise. Right. So like that's when you're talking about true next level athletes, is when you have to do hard ass work to do hard enough work to do what you need to do on the table. When we start doing that kind of stuff, that I think you're going to see I think there's even a level past what we're at right now. And
I think it's an excellent point, and I think you're probably right that for example, Craig Tullier, I was chatting with him, and he does a ton of non-strength building band exercises, doing the opposite motions than what you would do in arm wrestling, which really feels like it's taking strength away and just making you tired. But you do that every single day, and it builds the opposite angle strength. And even though that might not help you in an arm wrestling match, it is helping keep you healthy because you're not like overly strong on one side of your body and weak on the other, which makes you prone to injury.
Yeah, and we push our bodies out of balance. That's what we do. That's our job as an arm wrestler. We push our bodies out of balance, so you try to bring it in balance a little bit more, so you can push it even further out of balance.
Right.
Our job is to push it out of balance. There's nothing about this sport that says you're going to be healthy. Sorry, it's just the way it is. If you're at your I think Devin said it on his injury, or maybe his surgery video, which was a very good point. That there's becoming an elite athlete that and being a healthy person are not the same thing all the time. Somewhat unfortunate, but somewhat not. But.
Well, it's like, why do football players do yoga? It's like you have to commit a amount of time to training that does not directly help what you do in terms of the sport, but helps keep you healthy enough so that you can continue to do the sport.
Exactly right.
And it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
And nobody likes to do it.
It's
so it's
boring.
really easy to just skip it and focus on getting stronger.
Yeah.
And those are the people that probably end up getting injured or bouncing out of the sport, whereas people like, Craig Tullia and Prudnik survive and continue to excel year after year.
Yanis Mullins, he's another guy.
And if you watch his videos, you see he's doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of it's not arm wrestling related.
And from what I understand, a physical therapist. So, I mean,
Right.
has a good understanding of this stuff. And, it's all that stuff's so boring. And you're also talking to a group of guys. We're not runners. We're not hockey players. We're not football players.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Some of us are runners. Yeah. Josh Handlin, me,
yeah,
Tim Brown. There's at least three of us.
Handlin is definitely a runner.
There's at least three of us.
So, but we're not, we're not football players. We're not basketball players. We're not, our sport. The thing that keeps us coming back is for some reason we really enjoy stupid amounts of pressure on our joints, in our biceps, and our back, and our wrists. We really like that maximal effort, whatever that feeling is. We like it. So when you're asked, hey, can you do the exact opposite of that and do like almost no resistance, really. It's very little resistance. You're not going to get any stronger. Sorry. All these things that they present to you, then they get to the end and it's like, but it's going to help you. It's almost not like, it's almost hard to convince yourself that it's worth it because it's just so far outside the scope of what we actually do. But it's not. It's really, really not.
I'm writing a message to Chris Gobby right now because he just pointed out that Dave Shea is a triathlete, and I'm writing that I would pay money to see Dave Shea and Chris Gobby on the track in a race. I would pay a lot of money.
Oh, jeez.
Dude, come on. They could have a super match afterwards, too, because Dave's probably still a lot heavier than Chris. That'd be fun, too. But wouldn't you like to see them like in a 100-meter dash?
No.
You have no spirit, man. How could you not want to see that? Dude, we could sell tickets to that. I guarantee it. I wouldn't put Chris in the water because he would... I don't know if he can swim, man. Can you swim, Chris? Swimming's hard. It's hard. It's really hard.
Chris, report back.
Because we tend to be dense and muscular, which means we sink. We'd be great weights to tie to someone else's leg to drown them, but we're not good at swimming in general.
Yeah, all forearms. Not good for paddling, I guess, huh?
So where are we at? What else we got to talk about here, man?
I don't know.
I don't know either. There was some other point I was going to make.
What's the next tournament?
Episode 100 is our next episode, right? So should we do something special or should we just do another show? That's what my question is. Should we try to get superstar guests or spend the next week, you and me, stay up 24 hours a day and pick out all the best moments of the first 99 shows?
I'm not doing
and edit it all together?
No, I'm not doing it.
I think we could do it at 100 hours, maybe less.
Oh, that's not so bad. It's only 2.5 weeks worth of work by next week. I don't know.
Maybe I'll send John Brzenk my 100th message saying, come on the show. Just for 5 minutes. I don't know if he's still watching, but come on for 5 minutes, and then we will leave you be for life.
We can discuss the benefits of that H in your name for an hour.
Dude, I will talk airplane maintenance with him. I don't care what we talk about.
Oh.
You know what I mean? We don't have to talk about arm wrestling. I'm sure he has a lot of interesting things to say about his job. No one ever asked him about that. We know that he works on airplanes, but I mean, when's the last time anyone had a detailed conversation with him about it?
That's true. We could do that for an hour. I could do that.
I would watch it. Chris Gobby says he can swim like a dolphin. I need to see video of that.
Carry-on luggage size. Go. What's that about? ask the tough questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, ask the tough questions.
Yeah.
We can do it on this
Free
show.
messaging Wi-Fi on the plane. Why isn't it a thing, huh?
I don't think he has control over that.
Well, we're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna
Episode 100.
That's the hard part.
Episode
100. Airplane maintenance.
Get sued by Delta.
Norm won't come on. Norm is afraid of media. Listen, if you guys know Norm Devio, there's really cool stories about him. There's 3 things that are true. Okay, he was going to be asked to be part of an ESPN 30 for 30 show. He said no. He was asked to be on America's Got Talent, to get up on stage in front of everybody and arm wrestle people, and he said no. And the New York Times wanted to do an article on him, and he said no. So what they did, they were really sneaky. They sent one guy over there, like a student, dressed all scruffy, young guy, hey, Mr. Devio, I just want to do a little story. Would that be okay? And he's like, yeah, all right, come on in, kid. Because he thinks he's just some kid. And he shows him all of his, all of his paraphernalia and stuff, the pictures and photo albums and all that kind of stuff. So the guy borrows them and takes pictures of everything. It turns out he works for the New York Times. He did this huge spread on Norm. That's how that one happened, because he got tricked. But he won't even come on the show, and he's like best friends with us.
I know. I've known Norm forever.
He's shy.
I would love to have Norm on.
It would be awesome.
He'd have to sit right next to you too. I don't think we could get him to get Skype.
No, you'd have to sit right next to me. That should be fine. We'd fit.
Well, it would be perfectly fine. I'm totally for it, but it's just a detail.
To him, he's a fascinating guy to talk to.
Extremely.
He used to do the way he got strong. He used to be a gymnast, but back then they had different sports than they have now, and his sport was rope climbing. So what happened is they hang this rope similar to the ropes that we climb now from the ceiling, and you sit on the ground, grab the rope with your hands, climb all the way up, and stick your fingers in this little die pack, and then you come all the way down, and you show that you touched the die, and they give you your time. And that's what he used to smoke everybody in. Ropes with hands only for a couple decades. Yep. The guy can still, at age 77, he can do dead hang one-arm pull-ups, left hand, right hand. Just imagine that, Yeah. It's insane.
Norm's, to say he's special would be a vast understatement.
I agree. He's real. He's a special human being. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll work on him. He'd be a fun guest, number 100 anyway. But, so think about the program. We're going to get all the information out sometime this week. And if you have friends who are promoters, please talk to them and try and talk them into it. And if you have friends who have arm wrestlers, then tell them to sign up as soon as we release the link, donate some money, help some people fly over to Turkey in a few months. Actually, what is it, October, so 10 months.
When is Nationals? Was that April?
It's Nationals is April 7th, 8th, and 9th in South Bend, Indiana. You have to go to that in order to qualify for Worlds. And I just got a message from Hopper, which is a great app for determining the cheapest time to buy flights. Then now's the cheapest time. So we'll go buy the tickets. You guys can crash in my room if you want to. Qualify, and then we'll all go to Turkey. All right?
Sleep over at Josh Grant's place.
Yeah, well, it's only my place for the weekend, but I will as long as you don't snore. I can't deal with snoring, man. Yeah, and you can't smell either. If you smell bad or you snore, you got to find a different room. But other than that, the list
is going up here. Just Airbnb your hotel room.
I should be fine. Airbnb.
Now we can put all the things that you don't want and all the things you do want.
That's a legitimate idea, dude. I don't know about you, but I sleep light. If somebody's snoring, I might kill them overnight.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm not bad. I don't think I snore.
Yeah. Well, you never know until someone rats you out.
That's right. So. That's exactly right. Yeah, I was thinking about going just to support some teammates, but we'll see.
All right. So, all right, episode 99 coming to a close, everybody. We'll be here next week, most likely, for episode 100.
I don't see why not.
Something really good.
Maybe we should just skip 100, just go right to 101.
Yeah, and then do 100 later when we come up with a good idea.
Yeah, just go back in time.
That's a good idea.
I'm not above that. All right, fools.
All right, yes, we'll see you next week, everybody.
Later.
Adios.